Hello everyone, I am in the Yahoo Esports studio today with, well, one of Yahoo Esports' newest hires, Kelsey Moser. Welcome to Yahoo.
Thank you very much, Travis. I am excited to work with Yahoo Esports. I was even more excited before I found out that I would be working with you.
Oh,
but
and
unfortunately,
it's so appropriate that the first video you're doing once getting here is with me.
I suppose so, just so I can get all of my frustrations out and then just be happy afterwards.
Yeah. Well, for fans of your work, what should people expect from you in 2017? Because I'm sure everyone in esports is going to be asking themselves, what does this mean for Kelsey Moser?
So I've already had a lot of people ask me, will I continue to cover the LPL and the EU LCS? Now that I've left the score, the answer is yes. But I am also hoping to do more video content and expand into Korea and North America, maybe some LMS. I've always kind of felt like we over-tunnel on regions, and everyone's playing the same League of Legends game, so kind of demonstrating what we can learn from North America that's different from Europe, that's different from China and Korea is very valuable.
Yeah, very good. Well, looking forward to seeing all that stuff on our site. I think it'll be really good.
Yes.
So, well, while you are here, I do want to ask you a little bit, and maybe we can have a bit of a conversation about the off-season, because obviously there's been so many changes, and here in North America everybody's talking about so much, but maybe we can start off by talking about the region that you're most known for, China, LPL. What has been going over there? What are the crazy changes? So
there haven't been a lot of changes that have made official, except for a lot of people leaving, and by people I mean Korean players. So there are a bunch of reasons for this. One of the most common reasons that people bring up is the fact that the world's prize pool is increasing. So this incentivizes Koreans to play in the region that is most likely to win Worlds.
Do you think that that's it? Is it the prize pool changing, or is it, because I feel like in a lot of cases we have seen players go to China and everybody expects like, oh, this team is going to win now because they've got these like world champion Koreans that never really plays that way. Do you think there's a bit of like that dream kind of failing, and that might be incentivizing people too?
Yeah, that's a little bit part of the failure, but I think kind of after the first World Championship, it became sort of obvious that just adding these big name Koreans wasn't going to make Chinese teams win Worlds. After that, I think it became more about the fact that streaming companies, which were, a lot of people don't realize, a big reason why the Koreans came over in the first place, is part of the marketing issue. They weren't really getting the return on the investment for the Korean players that they were contracting. So the way it works is that the streaming platforms would partner with the Chinese teams to hire the Korean players and add them to the rosters so that they would stream on the platform and play for the team. But it turned out over time that maybe the Korean players weren't as popular as some of the streaming websites thought they would be, or maybe they didn't stream as much as the streaming websites thought they would stream.
Yeah.
And so they ended up deciding to maybe focus on something else that might give them more returns, especially recently when restrictions on streaming platforms and censorship is going to cause them to have to hire people to monitor the streams, so they have to spend more money as well.
So I guess the TLDR here is that the Chinese streaming sites are not funding the teams as much,
yes.
So they can't give the outrageous salaries that were always rumored to be available to Korean players.
No, this is accurate.
All right, so that's happening in China. Any particularly interesting moves in China, or anything that you want to say or touch on? What does this mean for 2017?
For China going forward, there are a lot of free agents still available and teams moving around. Those will be decided on December 18th, so I'm really excited to see how that shapes up. I think we'll see some teams going for maybe some all-Chinese rosters, and some teams still with the Korean experiment, but taking some other Korean players and maybe having to make some more thoughtful roster moves than they have in the past.
I guess we just heard Imp is staying in
yes.
China, right? Okay, so expanding outside, obviously we were just talking about how you're not just going to be focusing on China and Europe, but looking more broadly at the world, any particular moves or roster changes that strike you as interesting or that you're fascinated by?
Well, a lot of the North American teams are having an influx of money. There's more NBA involvement, things like this. So I feel like some of the North American teams are trying their hand at, I guess, the Korean experiment. And something
that we saw in China, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Something that one of the Chinese LPL casters, Joker, has said is that now North America is the richest region. So I think one of the big difference, though, is that the North American teams might have, that are importing these Koreans, might have less lofty aspirations for winning Worlds, because we still have TSM that wants to win Worlds, and as far as we know, there haven't been any Koreans added to that roster yet.
Yeah.
But other teams that are adding Looper maybe just want to go to Worlds. So,
yeah. So for you, you think whenever China imported a lot of Korean players, it was with the intent of like, we're going to win Worlds with these guys, and North American teams are just like, we would like to go to Worlds with these guys.
Partly, yeah. I think it was a combination of marketing for the Chinese side, and then also the fans expected them to win Worlds. The Chinese fans always expect the Chinese teams to win Worlds. Yeah. It has not worked out for them yet. But I think that North American fans are kind of a little bit more...
Yeah, we've always been a little bit more reasonable, I think, in our expectations.
That was kind of one thing I was really excited about this year, is when CLG made it to the final at MSI. And North American fans were like, yes, we did something.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, we set our eyes on maybe attainable goals or semi-attainable goals.
Yeah.
Very good. Any particular players that have ended up on teams that have surprised you? Or, I mean, a lot of people talking about SKT Huni. I don't know in particular if there's like one roster change that really stands out in your mind.
I mean, the SKT Huni thing actually kind of made some sense to me, because they picked up Peanut, and Peanut worked with Smeb, and he would gank Smeb a lot and get Smeb ahead. And then some people don't realize that Smeb and Rainover used to have like a close relationship, and so you could kind of see how that relationship branched out from there with Rainover and Huni, and then Smeb and Peanut, except I think we're having like the young guys, the less stable guys together now, so that'll be really interesting to see how like that exciting energy works.
Yeah.
I think Bang and Faker are kind of like the patient old guard, so they can pick up the pieces if it doesn't work out right away. But I think it'll be something interesting to see.
Very good. Well, hey, I think it was probably a pretty good conversation on all this stuff, but is there anything wrapping this up that you want to say to all the Kelsey Moser fans out there who are just like, this Yahoo Esports thing has blown my mind. I don't even know what to think about esports anymore. Are we just in a bubble? Is League of Legends going to continue to exist? Who knows what's happening? Anything you want to say to all those people that are losing their mind out there on the internet?
Well, if you're big enough of a fan of me to be losing your mind, then you probably have very specific tastes. So I guess I appreciate it. I'm a bit confused, but please look forward to content from me that is much the same, but hopefully better, much better.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Kelsey, for taking time to sit down in the studio that you now get a chance to work in quite frequently. Thanks again, and looking forward to seeing all this exciting stuff that we're going to be sharing from you on Yahoo Esports. For everyone else, you can check out more coverage of Kelsey stuff now here on Yahoo Esports.